Hola, hola, queridos amigos, muy buenos días. Gracias por estar con nosotros en su programa Café con Leche, la voz de los latinos en América. Estamos transmitiendo desde Hermosa 1470 AM, 96.9 FM. Les habla Lilia Galindo, me acompaña Tomás Elias. Él es un analista político que escribe en muchísimos periódicos de California, aquí en el Antelope Valley Press, 2 veces a la semana. Good morning, Tom. How are you?
I'm pretty good. And let's talk today about some of President-elect Trump's choices for some of the top positions in the U.S. government. And in thinking about these appointments, we have to remember that you may hate Trump, you may despise Trump for a lot of different legitimate reasons, but Trump keeps his word. When he makes a promise, he generally speaking keeps it. For instance, he promised that the people that he would choose for the top offices in the United States government would be loyal to him. And by implication, it means they're more loyal to him than they are to the Constitution of the United States. He made that promise because when he tried to stay in office after losing the election in 2020, he tried to institute a state of emergency, you'll recall, and cancel the election, or cancel the election results, or at least delay them. And he was thwarted. He wasn't allowed to do this because the generals who were running the military wouldn't go along with a state of emergency that he wanted, because they were more loyal to the Constitution of the United States than they were to Trump himself. And Trump doesn't want a rerun of that. He made that very clear when he was running for office. And so you have to look at his appointments in that context. You have to look at them for how dangerous they are in that context. But, okay, so let's look at them in a moment. I'll stop there.
Okay. Bueno, dice el presidente electo Donald Trump, dice tiene algo que de verdad siempre cumple sus promesas. Y esta vez prometió que iba a escoger personal que fuera más leal a él que a la Constitución. Dice, en la elección pasada, cuando ganó el presidente Biden, él trató de cancelar y de remover los resultados de esa elección para quedarse en el poder, pero hubo muchos generales que definitivamente no lo apoyaron. Así es que ahora todas las gentes que él ponga a él, su principal requisito va a ser que sean más leales a él que a la Constitución de los Estados Unidos. You can continue now, please.
Okay. So if you're looking for people who are loyal to Trump and not too bad, you might start with Marco Rubio, the Cuban refugee senator who Trump appointed as Secretary of State. Rubio's been on the Senate Intelligence Committee. He's been on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. So he has some experience in foreign policy, even if he's never been a professional diplomat. I wouldn't argue with the selection of Rubio. It also opens up, within a couple of years, an election for the Senate in Florida, which we wouldn't have had otherwise. Democrats have a chance to win that seat in the Senate if they can come up with a good enough candidate down there. But the three people that Trump appointed yesterday are a whole different matter.
Okay.
For instance,
Tom, let me translate first this Rubio, okay?
Yeah.
Bueno,
Okay.
Él ha propuesto, quiere gente que sea leal a él, y él propuso a Marco Rubio, que es un refugiado cubano, que es senador actualmente, y que lo va a poner como secretario de Estado, donde estaba, por ejemplo, Hillary Clinton, secretario de Estado. Dice, él tiene experiencia en relaciones internacionales, o sea que yo no me opongo a ese, porque además es un senador que en 2 años iba a correr para su reelección, así es que puede ser una posición que se ocupe por algún demócrata. And do you think that he's going to be loyal to him even when he was a candidate? He spoke so bad about Trump. He told him so many bad things.
Well, it was mostly Trump saying bad things about him.
Mm-hmm.
Rubio didn't say much bad about Trump. And yes, Rubio has been completely loyal to Trump ever since Trump was elected in 2016. He's never deviated from that. He's been as cowardly as all the other Republicans that Trump has insulted. People like Lindsey Graham and Ted Cruz and people like that who are in the Senate and are prominent Republicans in the Senate and opposed Trump in 2016. But once he was elected president, they began kowtowing to him completely. And they're very good at kowtowing, and Rubio is one of those.
Well, but why he chose Rubio but not Ted Cruz or Lindsey Graham?
No. I can't tell you why he chose. I can't tell you why he chose Rubio instead of Ted Cruz. Maybe it's because Rubio wanted the job and Cruz didn't. You understand? Once you're the Secretary of State and you leave your Senate seat, you can't go back to the Senate very easily. You have to go back to your state. Somebody else already has your seat. And it's very tough to get it back. Hillary Clinton found that out. Mm-hmm. She left her Senate seat from New York, ran for president, and never had another office because she lost. The same thing could happen to Kamala Harris. Except she might possibly run for governor of California. Well, the last person who ran for president and then lost and then ran for governor of California was Richard Nixon. And he lost when he ran for governor also. So, that can happen. Anyway, so let's look at Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz has been under investigation. He's the nominee for Attorney General. And he's been a congressman from Florida. But the moment his appointment as Attorney General was announced, he quit his job. He resigned from the House of Representatives. Now, why did he resign from the House? Because he's been under investigation by the House Ethics Committee, and they don't have authority to investigate him once he's no longer a member of the House. So that would end that investigation, Gaetz thought. What he didn't realize, probably, is that the Ethics Committee can release whatever it's found so far about him, and probably is going to do that today. And one of the things that it found about him, from what I've heard, is that he paid 4 women to go to parties where there was a lot of sex and drugs. And one of the things he suspected of when they were investigating him was for sex trafficking. And when you pay women to go to parties where there's sex, that is sex trafficking. And so I have a feeling that Matt Gaetz made a really stupid move in resigning from the House, because I don't think he's going to get confirmed as Attorney General. Kevin McCarthy, the former congressman from Bakersfield, right next door to you up there, and the former Speaker of the House, predicted today that Gaetz will not get confirmed. The Senate won't vote for him. Remember, all it would take is 4 Republicans to vote against him and all the Democrats, and then he can't get the job. Yes, he could possibly get a recess appointment and serve for 1 year. But 1 year is the limit of a recess appointment. A recess appointment is when the president appoints somebody to a job during a time when the Congress is in recess. And then they don't have to be confirmed for 1 year. But if they don't get confirmed in 1 year, they're out. And Gaetz, by the way, has been appointed now, and Congress will be in session in time to have hearings on him. So that's one. It's a terrible choice. I'll stop there.
Okay. La otra nominación fue para Matt Gaetz, dice, como abogado general de los Estados Unidos. Él es un representante de la casa y dice, y está en estos momentos bajo investigación del Comité de Ética de la Casa de Representantes, y ellos van a dar pues posiblemente un reporte el día de hoy. Dice, se supone que tuvo relaciones sexuales con una menor de edad y le pagó a 4 mujeres para organizar fiestas de sexo y drogas, y eso es un delito. Kevin McCarthy el día de hoy declaró que no cree que en lo absoluto que Matt Gaetz sea confirmado, porque dice, solamente se requieren cuatro representantes que digan que no del lado republicano y todos los demócratas, y entonces no se confirma. Pero también podría ser puesto durante el receso, cuando no hay nadie en el Congreso, y lo puede poner hasta por un año, pero necesariamente va a tener que ir a aprobación del Congreso y no va a pasar. Do you know why did he choose somebody without experience for that position?
Well, the guy's a lawyer. He has experience as a lawyer. Why did he pick him? Because he's loyal to Trump, and he'll do anything Trump tells him. That's what he said was going to be his main criterion, and that's what he's doing. Another one like that is Pete Hegseth, who he's appointed as defense secretary. Now, this is a guy whose major life experience is being a host of Fox and Friends on the Fox television network. He's never been a high military officer, but he has said on television that he thinks that all the woke generals, that is to say, generals who are liberally inclined, maybe the ones who brought in the don't ask, don't tell policy about gays in the military, they should all be fired, he said. And, you know, Trump is in a position now where he has to approve or disapprove anyone above the rank of major in the military who is up for promotion to colonel or general or whatever. And so in 4 years, he's going to get to choose generals who are completely loyal to him. And that's what's so dangerous about this, in my opinion. Trump is setting himself up to stay in office even after his term is over, when the Constitution requires him to leave. And remember, Trump is a guy who said that we ought to get rid of the Constitution. You know, he's more loyal to himself than he is to the United States of America, because the Constitution is the United States of America. Without it, we don't have a country. So that's what he's setting us up for. And that was my biggest fear during the election, is that Trump wouldn't leave after his term was up. So we can hope, perhaps, that Trump, who's shown signs of mental incompetence during the campaign, we can hope that that gets a lot worse, and they have to get rid of him before his term is up.
But then the vice president is not a risk also, like.
Well, he doesn't have the same cachet. The Republicans won't follow him the way that they follow Trump. He doesn't strike fear in their hearts the way Trump does. They follow Trump because they're afraid that Trump will get them kicked out of office, run somebody against him in a primary if they do anything at all against him. The Republicans are afraid of the guy. That's why they obey him. There's no other reason for it.
Okay, let me translate what you say, ¿eh?
Okay.
La otra persona que va a poner como secretario de la defensa, es un comentarista que se llama Pete Hegseth, que sale en Fox and Friends, ha sido su más importante posición, y a él lo van a poner en esa como secretario de la defensa. Y lo que Tom nos está diciendo, que después de 2 años es posible que ya pueda, dice, cuando eres coronel, de ahí para arriba es el presidente quien decide a quién promover. Lo que va a hacer es promover puros generales que le sean leales a él y no a la Constitución, y eso es lo que anda buscando. ¿Cuánto me falta? We just have 1 minute.
Yeah, okay. So what I'm going to say in this 1 minute is, all the stuff I'm talking about is just the beginning of Trump, of his next administration. It's the scariest thing I've ever seen in American politics, and it terrifies me as an American. And I think the people who voted for Trump are going to regret it greatly. They voted for him because the cost of a loaf of bread went up. They didn't care about the country. They cared about their own dinner table much more than they did the country. Well, that's how people are all over the world. If you don't have food, you can't worry about other stuff. There is a lot of validity to that. But it's going to be a disaster for the United States of America, in my opinion.
Bueno, para todos los que votaron por Trump, dice que se van a arrepentir muy pronto, que se van a dar cuenta exactamente qué clase de personas escogieron solamente porque estaba caro el pan. Dice, yo lo entiendo, pero van a sufrir las consecuencias muy pronto. Se nos the time is gone, Tom. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you very much. We'll talk next week.
Gracias.
Bye-bye.
Hasta la vista. Bye bye.
Hasta la vista.